Okay. Yeah. So this is just meant to be a, what you call it, like an intro to the AI basics. And so I'll show a little bit of kind of like the tool I use the main way, but it's really just scratching the surface of everything. So there really are a lot of tools, but most people don't understand exactly when they're talking about AI specifically what the difference is. So when you hear the name ChatGPT, that's referring to a large language model, which a lot of these tools are built on. So there's quite a few that are main players in it, and it's constantly changing. So these are the large language models that most people know of or that are the biggest players. So ChatGPT, the most known, it's came out first. It's basically has the highest adoption. Gemini is the one from Google, and it is actually trained on their access to information, their tools like YouTube. Copilot is ChatGPT, but connected through the Windows integrations. So Windows just, like Microsoft just put basically their UI over ChatGPT. Claude is another company that is, you know, they're doing really well in the sense of their big thing is for creative writing, and they've been a very good alternative for a lot of people. So again, yeah, ChatGPT's strength is just it's more in its adoption than anything. It's a very versatile tool. It's not by far the by any means the best one. It's so many people have gone and created their own tools, and then you can actually, when you go to use it, there's community tools already built into the OpenAI. Yeah, exactly. The the OpenAI site has community made tools for you that do different tasks. So really the adoption from the community is what makes it thrive as much as it does. The strength in Gemini, which is Google's, is that they have endless amounts of information owning like the Google search, owning YouTube. They have so much information and they have the finances beyond any other company to keep pumping money into it. And so they will grow at a faster rate than ChatGPT, but they're pretty close to on par right about now. Copilot, again, it's ChatGPT with, you know, with Windows skin on it. What they do well is that they integrate it into your OneDrive. So everything to do with Windows, like Excel, document, like Word, all this stuff will have Copilot involved now. And the computers are now being loaded with Copilot as an assistant. Claude, again, it's just for like mainly used for creative writing. It has a better understanding of creative writing and literature compared to most, and it's getting very good at code writing, which won't be of any interest to most people in our industry, but for when it comes to creating apps.
So what do you say if someone's making a social media post that one is good to use? Because I feel like it's probably going to be sounding more human, correct?
It's not that it necessarily sounds more human, it's that it has different and more nuanced ways of presenting the information, where it's the rest is trying to piece information it's getting from the internet in real time, because the data sets it has is basically English language or things it's seen, but it's just trying to find the closest it can to something that's productive. So they're getting better day and day, but when it comes to actually, like, say you're writing a short story and you need a synopsis, you need help sparking ideas, Claude might be a better one. But ChatGPT and Gemini probably have a little bit of a leg up in social media, only in the sense is that they are better connected to the internet to find comparable pieces of information to then create your ad, like your ad copy, right?
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Thank you.
So there's a lot of tools that are built on these. Most of them are pretty much all built on ChatGPT because it's been out for a year or two longer than everything else. But these can be used to make content creation within your business a lot easier. And these are the main ones I've seen used so far. So Opus Clip it's a really powerful tool in the sense where if you like to make video content and you made, say, a very informational video and you load that into it, it would actually break it down into smaller clips that are better for, say, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. And it'll do that all for you just by using the AI to find key spots and chapter it out. Descript is another one, but it also helps with scripting at the same time and editing the video to make it a lot more engaging. In video it's actually now a little dated from when I did it because so many companies are doing it, but you can actually do text to video generation where you can write the scene, the mood, you can put a whole script in there and you can actually ask it to make a video and it will make a video, and it does pretty well. It's a relatively cheap product too. It's $20 a month. It does what it needs to do for very cheap. And so it saves a lot of people who don't like to be in the video themselves. So it's good for like small commercial type things. Sintra is a really cool product, and I know that Bridget uses it herself, but it's kind of the thing that started what's heating up in the AI market now is AI agents. So what they did is they took ChatGPT, fine-tuned all these models to be specific jobs and made, I think it's like 12 to 16 like job softwares that they work on your behalf. So one would be analyzing your business and giving you numbers and analytics. Another one would be doing all your social media and creating ad copy, generating images, but it does it all for you. And so you just prompt it, you give it the background information on your business, and that's a really cool tool, and it can save a lot of time. So I see this one blowing up with agents really soon. If you have any questions, I'd ask Bridget because she loves it. And we've talked in depth about it, how much it helps her. Canva, everybody knows Canva because we use it for creating social media stuff, but they are constantly adding AI tools into it. Things like, an image background removal, text generation. Now you can grab text from an image that's not yours, so you can then easily edit images, that you may have had to pull from something else. There's a lot of options with Canva, and it's great. The next one is Chatbot Builder AI. It's so when you're on social media or on someone's website and you can talk to, like, they have a chatbot there and you think you're talking to them and it sounds fluid. This actually has the ability to connect it to ChatGPT and you feed it the information about your business so it can answer questions on your behalf until you are able to chime in and, take over that conversation, but it can give everyone the basics of your business so you're not feeling every single message. ManyChat is very similar to that. Blaze AI and Ad Creative AI they're basically full marketing platforms that you will give it a connection to your past social media or your brand voice, and you'll create it over time with them, and then it'll just create full content calendars for you. It'll create your ad copy, all that stuff, and build your campaigns for you. And so that takes that out of what your to-do list has. This one at the bottom here, Notebook LM, is one of my favorite, and it's one that I want to show. It's a free tool from Google that allows you to take documents, videos, websites, anything you want of a certain topic. You put that as a source, and that tool will only cite that source. But then you can create full education plans. You can create a podcast explaining the information that you see, that you have in there. You can build notes. You can build quizzes, FAQs, like a briefing doc, and then you can share that out so people can actually ask questions of the database you've made. So it's something I actually have up and I can show. So as we all work in Keller Williams Command, I feel that we all have questions from time to time. So I've gone ahead and I've basically taken all of the Scott Leroy marketing material on Command that teaches the basics of it. And I've uploaded it in here so that it has the knowledge base for it. So now as you see on the left-hand side here, it shows all the videos and websites that I've added to it. These are all the sources on the left-hand side. So you can always disconnect those sources, or you figure out what the links are and go yourself. But basically now it's populated this and you can ask questions. So if you wanted to know, how do I add a contact? Just like asking a normal human, you just ask it the same way and it'll give you a step-by-step process, and it cites it to each video. So if you need to go back and see a version of it, if you need to see it instead of reading it, you can always cite that video, but it tells you where to get it. Stuff like that, right? And so it can be anything that's within the material. It will go over hours of information to give you what the request you're asking for. And so it can save you a lot of time with dealing with, calling somebody to help you out if no one's available. But the one of the cool features that I find is this audio overview. It creates a podcast of two people talking, and it sounds so lifelike, but it gives you the overview of it, and it just does it automatically when you load your sources in, as long as you hit generate. And so I'll play a clip to kind of show what we're dealing with.
All right. Welcome back, everyone, for another deep dive.
Always fun to dig into a new topic.
Absolutely. And this time, well, you guys know how these things work.
Our listeners give us a topic.
Yeah. They send us a bunch of information.
A mountain of information sometimes.
And we climb it for them.
Exactly. We're like their Sherpas or something.
Bringing back the golden nuggets, right?
The good stuff, the things they really need to know.
So this time around, we're tackling KW Command.
A big one, especially for new agents.
That's right. Seems like everyone's talking about it these days.
And for good reason. It's a pretty powerful platform.
It is, but it can also be a bit overwhelming.
Oh, for sure, especially at first.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a whole stack of videos here from the Scott Leroy Marketing YouTube channel.
Wow, he really goes deep on Command.
He does, which is great, but it's a lot to absorb.
Yeah, definitely. So we're going to try to break it down.
Highlight the most important stuff so new agents can hit the ground running.
Exactly. Give them a roadmap, so to speak.
So maybe we should start with the basics.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's just a snippet of it. So it sounds pretty seamless, but that is a 25-minute video. And it just breaks down a good chunk of the overview of it, kind of gives you a starting point. But on the other hand, on the other side here on the right, you can add your own notes, which can then be turned into sources as well. Or you can create study guides based off of it. So I click study guide, it'll automatically generate it. It does take a minute, but now it's ready. So here we are. So it's now created a study guide and a quiz, and that's all done for you. So it's quite a bit of information just done for you. So you don't have to kind of work through it all yourself. It does quite a bit. This can be shared out, and so other people can access it if you so want to, but it's a really cool tool. Did any of you have any questions before moving on? No? So what can it be used for is it's kind of up to you. I mean, it depends what you envision for your business. Personally, I use it for more research and building my social media posts than anything, but people have used it to create, video content, to, make an app, to build robotics. It, like, the possibilities are endless. It's just a matter of thinking it out and working with it. But it's about knowing how to talk to your chatbot, the AI, and to get to the answer you want. So the main term that everyone needs to know is the prompt. Prompt is the written or spoken instruction for the AI model. It's basically you give clear directions on tone, context, task, and format. Basically what you want to do, how you want them to make it sound, and just the format in which it's going to come out so that it works best for your use case. So we can kind of show a little bit of the use case, but see if I can find it. Just pulling up a file. Have it somewhere here. Where did it go? Okay, so I mean, we can kind of try different things. So one of the main things we use obviously is for social media that take this image here and upload it. Can you guys still see my screen? Yeah. And now I want to ask it to help me create a social media post. I'll get rid of the help me. Say creating a social media post that runs with the image. We're targeting agents in the area. Join office. Inspire. Friday. The values of Keller. And I want to get it to focus on what Keller Williams is known for. And so that should be all it needs because it can focus on looking for Keller Williams online and find its core values. And something as simple as that, and it should create your draft. The nice thing is that it will, with Gemini, the one I use, it gives you multiple options for different styles. You can dial it in for a style you like to use every time, so it gives you less, but it's pretty much spot on. But the options are pretty good in the sense of what they give you every time. So depending on what fits kind of how you want to advertise, you would just copy and paste it and you have your image already. You make your social media post and it's done. It should always come with hashtags, which are very relevant. That's one way of doing it. Another thing I do tend to use it for is when I don't want to go through is I go through zoning parameters and I don't want to go through the whole official plan. Is I will actually upload the PDF of the official plan and query it for all this, like a summary of all the things I need to know about that zoning and give the zoning code. Now, I was trying to find the file there, but I couldn't. So I'll see if I can quickly find it here. I think I found it. There we go. So I'm going to get it to give me a breakdown of the allowable uses, maximum lot coverage. Setback. For the urban residential zones, and it should now go through that entire document and find the relevant information for me and give me a detailed response to that. So I guess that if we wanted to get more specific, I can now ask it to give me a more dialed in one. So, okay, let's clarify for UR1. And that should now give me all the numbers and the information I'm seeking for that specific zoning. And that's simplified my process of going through zoning for properties that might have weird zoning in the area. I use it a fair bit in Prince Edward County for their special provisions too, because then it saves me a lot of time. Yep. Did anyone have a question? No. So another thing I like to use within Gemini is they have a feature called this deep research tab. And so you can set it to it. You basically say what you want to research. So I want to study the real estate in Kingston, Ontario over the last 5 years. And what it'll do is it'll confirm with me what kind of research it wants me to do and the general idea of the report. So it breaks it down on how it's going to do the research. And then I just click start research, and it takes somewhere between 5 and 10 minutes. And it will actually collect anywhere between like 20 and 200 websites, and it will go through all of them and find the relevant information for me and create a report. This saves me a lot of time when trying to do like deep research into anything. But as you see, it's starting to populate websites and information as we speak. And it'll just keep adding more for a little bit. I'll let that go.
Sorry, I just have to laugh that Reddit is one of the sources.
Yeah, well, it's funny because when I was looking at agents and I didn't know how to figure out more about them, Reddit was actually a very good tool, surprisingly. The public is very open about what they think of everyone, so I found a lot of information about people pretty quickly.
Yeah, I love Reddit. Reddit's great.
I don't spend too much time on it, but no, it's good.
Yeah, nor do I. Normally, like the Kingston, Ontario subreddit, a couple other ones, but
Yeah, I'm going to stop sharing while that goes, but I don't know. Does anyone have any ideas of what they might use, say, AI for, and we can kind of test out a prompt or a query? I had some, but they've all become dated in the time since I wrote them, so they might work differently now. No, you don't use it for anything, Megan?
Me, I usually use it for like some social media posts.
Yeah.
Whatnot. Yeah.
Yeah. A cool thing they've started to do with ChatGPT and Gemini is it lets you talk to it too. Like you can do a live conversation with the tools and just basically problem solve in real time with them for the people who don't like to type things out. And it's kind of a nice change. I use
Like,
it once in a while.
are you talking about like voice to text?
No, not voice to
For
text,
sure?
like an actual conversation.
Oh, and just do it verbally.
Yeah. And it'll transcribe it for you, whatever their response is and whatever yours is through the whole thing. And
So
you
why
just,
be a therapist when you've got AI?
there are AI therapists already.
That's
It's
crazy.
in every industry, right? But yeah, I mean,
It works well for an outline for a contract.
yeah,
I just go in and tweak it, or I'll just ask it to do things until it's like really close. And then, I always tweak things a little bit, but
yeah, it's good for like the basics of a business plan. It's good for, you know, you can create a learning plan for yourself if you're trying to get into something new. That's I find is a good one. It's really anything you can think of, and that's the thing is, sometimes it's overwhelming how many things there are, and so you kind of get caught on the few you do know. This is still doing its research over here, but it's cool to show how it does it. Okay, so that's done now. I'm going to share that research. Give me 1 second. There it is. Okay, can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is the report it built for me. So as you go through there, this report provides an in-depth analysis of the real estate market trends. Now you kind of have to know, like somewhat know your stuff as well, because there is room for error with everything because it is pulling information from a public space. So sometimes there's wrong information online, but it's generally trying to use CREA and other things. But there's statistics, there's popular housing types in Kingston, builds tables. Now we went through one of these, Maureen and I, and we had to fix some of the neighborhoods because neighborhoods in Kingston are vastly different whatever medium you're reading them from. And so it gets kind of weird, but it's a pretty fleshed out report. You just have to make sure that it didn't make a little error here or there. But ultimately, for this report and how many sites it went through, which they're all cited in here, it saved you hours, right? And so that's a tool I use quite often for anything I'm researching. It doesn't matter if it's learning how to start a podcast, the real estate market, things I'm interested in, or hosting like the perfect event for real estate, any of that stuff. It will find relevant information online instead of you having to look it up yourself. Because I think we all know that sometimes starting that Google search can be a bit daunting with the results and the results that are bad. So that's kind of where I stick with it. But that's essentially it for the basics part and kind of how to get started with some of them. I mean, ultimately with ChatGPT and Gemini and Claude, you'll get the same results. So it doesn't matter which one you use. There's a free version of both ChatGPT and Gemini. I think you get a lot more with Gemini in terms of it doesn't limit you to how many uses you have. But other than that, generally the same quality of work. Did anyone else have anything?
I'm sure you talked about this before I came on, but also for listing for the comments.
Yeah.
And I always tweak it again. I always tweak things that I do with ChatGPT, but you can put together a pretty good listing description with ChatGPT and then just alter it to, you can either alter it using ChatGPT, till you get it to where you want it, and then tweak it to make it sound like yourself at the end.
Yeah. And you can also, within the prompt itself, say you have to keep it under this number of characters. In general, it's pretty close because we do have the limitation. I think it's 3,000 now.
It just changed. Kingston just changed as of last night. So I'll have to check it. I read it this morning, but
I mean, some people like to max them out, but I don't think you should. No one needs a novel, but clients do like to see that you're properly explaining their properties.
I think unless it's like, you may want to max it out if you've got a lot of details, like it's a rural property with a farm and, a farm that has all sorts of different extra things in it that may interest somebody. But, a normal residential house, people get bored quickly. They have attention for about 30 seconds. So
Exactly. But that's like the good thing about the AI is you can say like start very engaging or fix what you have written. If you're thinking something's not right about it, it can just say make this more engaging, but keep kind of the essence of it, and it'll do a pretty good job.
Carol, what are you using yours for present? Are you using ChatGPT?
You're on mute.
Yeah, I was trying to figure it out. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, I got it. I have used it before, mainly for trying to flesh out or just have better language for things like you said with the description, or if I haven't used it that much. I think when I was working on like a seller package, like trying to come up with ideas to inspire me of things I could put in it, wording, things like that. Yeah.
And even emails, honestly, like if you can tweak your emails to make it sound more polished. Especially if there's an email that's difficult to send or that you need to be extremely professional. Sometimes you can take your words and just or the idea and throw it in and get something out that's.
I had the app for a year, and it would just automatically tell me how to phrase things every time I'd write anything. So, and it was handy. I got to admit, it did help. So,
yeah, you can also have it create full smart plans for you. So you say if you want to set up something for an auto touch point in your CRM, like that has a mix of emails, calls, texts, and it will create, a timeline, when to reach out, what to say, scripts, any of that stuff, so that you can just build that from there. You just have to tell it what the goal is, and it's pretty seamless. And if it doesn't work for you, at least it gave you the structure and the bones to do it. You can just adapt from there, right? Most of us just start or take way too long getting started and don't like it because we're all perfectionists, and then eventually, so just to get started, it's gets you halfway there fast, and the rest is simple, right? But yeah, I think that about covers just like the basics. I mean, we can go more in depth than another one, but there's a lot to it, and it's changing constantly. So it'll be interesting to see how the next few months play out in terms of what they're coming out with. Who knows? Maybe we'll be out of a job one day. Let's hope not. Zillow and House Sigma have had problems with the AI they've tried to put in with house price estimates. So,
once they can't follow it because there's been a change, they become problematic as well too.
Yeah. there's patterns, but there's too much human variables in it, right? So it might be on for a day and then it's way off after that, right? All right, so that is it. That is my intro to AI basics. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Bye, guys.
Thank you, Jason.
Thanks.